Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for yoga today. We're going to start lying down. It would be great if you had a yoga block, especially if you have tighter legs. If you don't, grab a little pillow or something that you can use to prop up under your legs in a minute. It'll make more sense in a second. If you do have your blocks, just set those to the side and then come onto your back and just lie down comfortably, whatever that means for you right now. Okay. Two things. One, excuse my super dorky sock look, but my feet just get so cold, even here in almost summer. Okay, and then the second thing, there's some construction happening in the street, in my neighborhood, and they're coming and going from different streets. So let's hope they don't start making noise while we're practicing together, but this is life. All right, couple deep breaths just to settle in. Adjusting clothes, props, whatever you need. And maybe a good sigh out on your exhale. Take your waist now just slightly down toward the floor, like a gentle level of tucking, kind of pressing and widening your low back. A gentle engagement to your belly, nothing strenuous, just kind of drawing in there. Then use that strength, pick up your knees, and take hold of your legs with your hands, however it feels good to you. Should be easier now for your back to meet the floor since it's become more round in this shape. So just kind of feel that part of your body, maybe enjoying that stretch or that release of the back down. And keep your legs as is and just open your arms out to the sides, kind of like you're making the letter T with your arms. And begin to sway your hips slowly from side to side. So right now we're not really making a huge movement. We're just kind of waking up the middle. And you can start to maybe elevate your feet a touch higher, still keeping your knees bent, but just raising the feet away from the floor. This will change the work slightly, but it shouldn't feel too strenuous. As your body warms up to this, if you feel inclined, start to make the movement a little bit bigger. Just remember that you're trying not to fling your feet side to side, but to roll your belly from one direction to the other, to turn your hips from your core instead of from your feet. Now, the next time that you go to the right, you're going to take your legs all the way to the floor. So your left shoulder might come up when you do that. That's totally fine. So we're going to do a couple things here. So first, just put your right hand on top of your left knee. Take a breath in. And when you exhale, twist your belly to the left, twist your ribs to the left, twist your chest to the left. Maybe you even turn your head slightly left. Now we're going to back off that effort of the twist and just be in a little bit more relaxed shape of twisting. And then you're going to release your right hand, elevate your left knee so that it's just hovering slightly above the right one, and begin to can that leg out towards straight. So it's twisting over to the right, and you're just bending and straightening your left knee. And if you can't quite get it all the way straight, that's okay. Just go in that direction. So you're just bending and straightening, which increases the stretch a little bit, and it makes you work some on your outer hip. Now, the next time it goes in the direction of straight, just reach through it. Kind of think of lengthening from your waist all the way out through your left foot. Good job. Bend it in. And then here's the second thing that we're going to do here, or maybe it's the third. I've lost count already. We're going to straighten the right leg out. And then you're going to take your block or pillow, if you had a pillow, and you're going to put it under your knee. So I'm going to turn and face you for this one just so you can see it easier. You're just going to prop the knee up. So what you're doing is just elevating your knee at hip height. Okay, so bottom leg is straight out from the line of your hip. So it's not out in front of you, it's just kind of straight there. So you're gonna, again, use your right hand. Now it's my left because I've switched legs, but use your right hand so you're on your same leg. Push down pretty firmly. So really try to like anchor your left knee over there to the side, and then take your right hand, reach straight up from the shoulder toward the ceiling. Sorry, it's your left hand. Now I'm going to be all confused. And then spin that arm open behind you. So in this twist, you're really working to anchor your knee over to the side. So opening and closing with thoracic mobility. Reach that left hand up, pause, push down with the right hand on your knee. Don't let your legs really change too much. And then turn and twist your belly. So really kind of exaggerating a little bit, that twist. Let's do that one more time. So we're kind of closing or at least neutralizing the twist, and then keeping the legs fixed, not letting the hips turn, stacked left hip on top of right, and roll it open. Good job. And then release. Just untwist, come onto your back. Set yourself up to be, kind of straight on your mat again. And then we'll just do that whole sequence again. So we'll pull the knees in, draw the waist slightly down. You should still be able to breathe, so it's not that hard of ab work. Arms to the sides. If you have that block there, just move it out of the way for now. And then start to rock your hips from side to side. You can begin to elevate the feet a little bit. Moving with control from your middle. So it's really your tummy that's turning. So you might let the knees go to the side, but then you pull your belly in to bring your legs back to center. And then eventually you're going to go all the way to the left, both knees over there to the side, even if your right shoulder comes up. Put your left hand on your right knee. Exhale. Twist belly to right. Chest to right. Right shoulder presses to floor or toward it anyway. Maybe you turn your head. Back off the effort of the twist. You're still staying in the twist, just not working quite so hard. You can free your hand off of your knee and then begin to, hover that right leg, but to just kick the foot out in the direction of straight and then bent. So just back and forth a few times, kind of like a little mini can-can dance here. Just working those tissues on the outside of the leg and stretching it at the same time. And then hold that straight or straight-ish position. Push from your hip out through the sole of your foot, like you're lengthening your leg. And then bend again. Find your block. You're going to straighten out your left knee and put your right one on the block. Now, again, I'm going to twist the other way just so I'm balanced. So prop your knee. You want it about the height of your hip. You're just trying to keep your hips stacked here. So now we're kind of mobilizing the torso. Instead of swinging the hips from side to side, we're moving the torso. So push down on your bent leg. So that should be your right one. It's my left one. And then your right hand goes up in the sky. You're going to press down with your hand on your knee. Don't let your legs change. And then turn the torso. And reach that right hand out behind you to the right. We'll do this 3 times. So back towards center. This is where you can kind of take a breath and regroup. So right leg pushes down, left leg is straight. Don't change the legs. And then turn from above there. Just see what your mobility is in your torso, in your middle. One more time. Last one. Okay, release. And when you come out, you're just going to turn onto your belly. So just move that block to the side and then keep it up there near the front of your mat for later. And then come onto your tum-tum. lie down on your belly. It's just adjusting my mic pack. Take a few breaths while you're there on your stomach. And pop yourself up onto your elbows like the Sphinx. Just do a little bit of rotation in the neck while we're here. So to begin, twist your head to the right. Hi, I haven't seen you in a while. Look over the right shoulder. You can even think of contracting the right side of your waist, almost like a little bit of a side bend, and lengthening the left side of your waist. Maybe out of the corner of your eye, you see your right foot back there. Give it a breath. Come center and twist the other way. So you look over your left shoulder. Think of it almost like a little bit of a side bend. Contract the left side of your waist, kind of lifting it and shortening or squeezing those muscles, and then lengthening the right side. You notice perhaps that one side's easier or more range of motion, like this side's much easier for me. I can even see my right foot out of the corner of my eye, not just my left foot. And then center, pause, and decide if you'd like to just stay here and enjoy this back bend for one more breath, or if you want a little bigger back bend, you can lift your elbows and kind of peel up. And then exhale and release back down. Right arm is going to slide out to the side. You're going to push down with that hand and twist onto, or lean, I don't know how you'd say it, onto your right side. So you're rolling your chest open to the left. I like to hover my left leg, but you can bend it, whatever you want there. And as you press down with your right hand, pull your chest forward and away from the floor. Try to get some stretch in your pec muscles. That's your chest on the right side, not just in your shoulder joint or your elbow. Then you're going to come out by rolling onto your belly, and then you're going to bend your right knee. And you're going to see if you can reach back and catch that with your left hand. If not, no big deal. You could just do it no hands and just see what it feels like to bend that knee here. If it's easy for you to catch it, don't worry. If it's crossing over toward your left butt cheek, no biggie. Just let that happen. And then release. Let's do the same thing on the left side. So we're going to begin by putting left arm to left. You're going to twist onto your left side, so you're peeling off the floor and facing toward the right. I like to use right hand on the earth to push down, and then I can elevate a little bit away from the ground. So it's like I'm trying to turn the crease of my left elbow, that's the one out on the floor behind me, forward, not down toward the ground. Lifting up enough that I can pull my chest away from my hand and get some stretch in the front left side of the chest there. Give a breath or two. And then when you roll back to the ground, you're going to bend your left leg this time. See if you can come around with your right hand and catch your foot. You could use your left hand as a pillow if you want. So if it's easy for you to grab it, don't strain yourself if it's not happening. If it's easy, pull it on in. Let it cross maybe over toward your right hip, wherever it goes. If not, you just no hand it. You just hold it as is with your leg strength only. Couple breaths. And then release your foot if you have it. Push into the floor and come up to all fours. Take just a moment to move around and get yourself situated in your all fours alignment, roughly. Hands under shoulders, or maybe a little more forward than that. Roughly knees under hips. Dive your left hand behind your right wrist. Send your shoulder to the floor. Take your head with. So kind of like when we were on the floor a minute ago, the hips are not moving so much. So push your hips slightly left. Twist in your torso. press the back of your left elbow into the floor and pull your spine away from your left hand, almost rounding your back. Like, see if you can use that pressure down with the arm so that you can pull your shoulder blade away from your spine on that left side. See if you can get that to happen. Plant your right hand flat. It might be off the edge of your mat. Unravel this twist. As you come out, step your left foot forward and off your mat to the side, and then twist open to the left now. It's kind of like a version of side plank. Push down with the right hand. Roll the chest open, spread your wings, almost like you're decompressing in that right shoulder. Face the ground. Step your left leg back in the air and hover it. Bend that knee. Push your hip toward the sky. Actually, your foot and knee. Squeeze your tail down. Try to contract your left butt muscles. And then release that leg. Big breath in. Side 2. Right hand threads behind left wrist. Taking right shoulder and head to the floor. Move your hips slightly right so you're stabilizing your pelvis and you're twisting more in your torso. See if you can push down with your right arm like your elbow is pressing into the mat. And then pull your chest back away from your right hand, almost kind of rounding your upper back. Try to spread your shoulder blades apart, in particular that right one. You're trying to get it to kind of glide along your ribs, away from your spine to stretch those muscles back there. Plant the left hand now. Come on out of your twist. As you roll open, take your right leg off your mat to the side. Open your chest, take the right arm to sky. Twist nice and broad so that the wings can really spread. It'll help if you push down with that left hand, decompressing in the left shoulder, not collapsing in it. Release to all fours. Send right leg straight back in the air. So it's hovering for a moment. And then draw your belly up, but bend your knee. So when you push your knee up, try not to dump your belly out. So squeeze the back of your leg and your butt muscles in particular, just for one more breath. And then drop that down. Take a breath in, curl your toes under, push up, give yourself a dog pose. Feel free to move around in the pose right now if you want. Lean forward and come all the way back to your belly. If you want to take a little back bend in there, of course, be my guest. We're going to revisit what we did earlier, which is to say you're going to lie on your belly. You're going to take your right arm out to the side, same as before. Twist open to the left. So we're repeating. Kind of reach out this time with your left leg out behind you. Open the front of your chest. Breath into the right lung. Obviously, it's going into both, but just try to expand through that right side. Come out, catch the right foot. Bend your right knee, reach back with left hand, and see if you can find it. Now, this time we're going to add a little rotation, a little variant. So you're going to twist. We're just rolling all around on the floor toward the right again. Keep hold of your foot if you have it. If you don't, you can obviously just do this no hands. And push that foot behind you. You're holding it in your left hand if you can. Now, if this is hurting your shoulder or your arm, obviously you could just take your arm out. You would just move it out of the way altogether and maybe use your right hand to get into that thigh stretch. It's just a fun variation sometimes to try something different. So get a thigh stretch on that right leg if you can. Back to center. Here's another fun way to do it. Twist the other way now. Roll left foot, bends up with your knee. Right foot drops behind you on the mat. You may have fallen off your mat like I did. Hopefully I'm still in the frame. So now it's a twist, but with that bottom leg bent instead of straight like we did earlier. Okay, that was lots of rolling around on the floor. Don't worry, I'll guide you through it on the other side too. So come on out of whatever pretzel shape you got yourself into. Take a face down moment on the floor to reset and recenter. And now we'll do side two. Left hand to the side off the mat. First, you're turning toward the right. So you're going to be lying on your left side. The right leg hovers, opening the chest on the left side, maybe thinking about breath into that left lung just to get some expansion there. Now when you come out, you're going to bend your left knee, use your right hand, see if you can catch your foot again. So obviously, if no hands happens, that's fine. But what you'll do is you'll start to take that top foot, the bent leg, reach it over to the right behind you. If you're holding the foot, just keep holding it. And you'll end up on your side. You might have to kind of move your boob out of the way if you're a lady or if you have boobs. You can kind of pull the foot in. You could push it out. If no hands is working or this is hurting your shoulder or chest, you can always take the variation of getting the right hand out and doing some other version. Either way, you're aiming to stretch into that left thigh, top of the leg somewhere. A little butt squeeze might help to get into that area better too. All right, we got one more here. It's really simply just twisting the other direction. So you pass through lying on your belly, perhaps still holding that foot, maybe not. And then you're twisting. So now you're going to turn so that you're facing toward the left. You're on your left side. You're going to bend your right knee up this time and hold it like we did earlier. So previously we did it with the left leg straight. Now we're just asking to hold this foot in our hand. As you twist, pushing down on your right knee, you can move that left foot toward the floor behind you. If it's not happening, it's no big deal. You just let go of the left foot or you fast forward on the video. That's the cheater way. All right, one more breath here. Come on out. Come to the face down position. Use your hands, push up to all fours, and find your way back into dog pose. Think lengthen the spine. You're pushing down with your hands, reaching up through the hips, really elongating. That was some back bending, some twisting, some weird shapes. Give it one more breath. And begin to tiptoe your feet forward towards your hands. Go kind of wide, like shoulder width or outer mat width distance. And allow your spine to hang down. Just check that your weight is enough forward that you're not leaning back behind your heels. You should feel your calf muscles begin to engage when you hit that line. First, you want to always kind of soften or relax into a pose. Like, don't start with mad effort. Start with like ease and breath. And then work from there. So you can start to straighten your legs more. Or maybe actively pulling the head in a little bit more. And then breathe in and lengthen your spine. Maybe exhale and fold forward again. We're going to stand. So just take your time. You might have a little head rush if you stand up too fast. And perhaps reach your arms up overhead. As long as you don't feel like you're going to pass out. All right. If you do happen to have blocks, we're going to need those in a little bit later. It's just an option. It's useful if you have tight legs, but you don't need them if you don't have them. Just kick them closer by. And then you're going to stand on your mat and you're going to gaze forward and find something that's not moving out there on the wall or whatever you're looking at in front of you. Okay, that's going to help with your balance because we're going to do a balancing pose next. So bend your knees just a little. Think of them almost like shock absorbers because now you're going to shift to the left so that you can pick up your right knee and hold your knee with your left hand. For now, just put your right hand on your hip. So that standing leg, the left leg, that ability to bend and articulate in your ankle, that's going to help you not fall. So is finding something to look at that isn't moving. So just calm your mind, and this might already be like you're at your limit. You don't need to do anything else. But if this is kind of easy for you, draw your hips back right above that left ankle, not out in front of the toes, standing tall. See if you can start to rotate. You don't even have to move your head. Just reach your right hand back behind you. Test the water. And if holding that is working okay, move your eyes super slowly and let your head follow, like to a new point. Maybe you turn your head a little and you pause and see how that goes. And then maybe you do that again. Maybe you take your eyes around and let your head follow until you're at whatever that point of kind of limit is for your body. Now, if this were boring, you needed more, you could always slip your hand over or under your thigh and think about the idea of reaching out through the sole of your foot. You did that when you were on your back. It's just way harder here. Okay, bend your knee if you straighten your leg. Go slow, untwist, step your foot to the ground. Inhale, reach up through your arms. We're going to do just a half sun salutation. So exhale, forward bend. Touch the ground, ease first. Then engagement. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Soft shoulders, soft mind. Inhale, rise. Arms can stay down if you want. They don't have to go up, especially if you have really low blood pressure. If you take your arms overhead, that might be danger of passing out zone. Release your hands. Pause. Ground yourself. Get some stability with some gaze point in front of you, something not moving. Bend your legs a little. Shift weight to the right. Lift left knee. Hold your knee with your right hand. Left hand goes on hip. Get your bearings. Draw the hips back so they're not swaying forward. Try to keep that left knee up about hip height. Decide if you want to just hang out here and work on balance or if you want to start to twist. So I like to move first my eyes, not my head, my eyes, and then my head. Go real slow. And then just kind of incrementally do that in stages. Eyes, head, torso. Maybe you just do the arm behind you and you don't move your head at all. That's how we started on the other side. So you just go where you can. Try to find something to look at that's noticeable. Like it's much harder for me on this side because the light is not as good. There's not texture. It's just like one big blank field. So I have to concentrate a lot harder. We'll see if we can do the straight leg. So variation if you want it to kick out that left foot toward the front as you turn. Just an option. Bring the leg back, bend your knee, untwist, put your foot down. Oh, thank the Lord, baby Jesus. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, and forward fold. Soften where you can. And then engage, right? Legs. Maybe pull in a little tighter with the torso. If you've got your blocks, this would be a good time to use them. You could use one, two, if you don't have them. I like one under each hand. If you don't have two, just put one dead center. We're going to kind of revisit some twisting and some balancing now. So let's see. You're going to lift your right leg straight back. So you might have to shift your hips over the left foot. Maybe you readjust where your hands are. Perhaps you reach the floor easily and you're just balancing here in the letter T with your legs, but with your hands down. So this is a version of Warrior 3. We're just doing with hands on the earth. So soften that left knee first. Try to find some balance and ease in the pose. And a variation, obviously, just an option, would be to twist. You could start with your left hand on your hip, eyes, head, torso, rotating, and maybe left hand to sky. If this is boring, I don't think it is for anyone. You could always bend your right leg and maybe catch your foot back there. This is called revolved sugarcane pose if you have the foot, or revolved half moon if your leg is in the air without the leg bent. So do what you can. It's pretty intense. Calm your brain down then. Untwist. Put your hand down if you did twist, and put your right foot down next to your left. Let's fold forward briefly, starting with soft knees, relaxed shoulders. Maybe you can compare the difference in the legs, like that left leg should feel different than the right after that. Mine feels longer. It's so strange. All right, last side of this. So first, it's just kind of the halfway lift, right? Both feet are on the floor. You have your hands either on blocks or the ground, or maybe one block, and your arms are straight. You could always just kind of stay with that version, or if you want it, you can shift. You probably have to move your hips slightly right so that you can lift your left foot straight back. Now for me, I like to move my hands slightly to the right too when I do that, so they're kind of creating a more balanced position. So this is Warrior 3 with the hands down for support. So the hips are roughly square and both legs are trying to be straight. So all of these are kind of stops along the way. You could stop at any point or continue. So next option, if you want it, would be to rotate. So that means right hand comes up, you put it maybe on your hip to begin, and then you see about twisting. And I like, head and eyes first, kind of slowly, eyes, head, chest. And maybe your hand stays there. Maybe it goes in the air. Woo, it's harder on this leg for me for sure. So you just find your version. And that might even include bending your back leg, reaching back with your fingers, trying to find your foot, pushing that foot up into Parvrita Ardha Chandra Chapasana. That's a big mouthful. It just means revolved sugarcane pose. Or maybe you're in the twist and that's revolved half moon. All right, we're going to untwist if we're twisting. Obviously, let go of the foot if you have it. And then drop that foot to the floor. You can readjust your blocks as needed. Exhale, fold in. See how the legs feel in comparison to before. Okay, turn the toes out like little duck feet. Squat down. So you can choose, depending on your body and your knees and all that, if you want to squat and kind of keep your head upright. Maybe your arms are in between your knees and your head is looking outward. Or perhaps you prefer a real round and you want to just kind of look down or reach out or hold your ankles. Explore what kind of shape would feel good to your body here. And whichever one you choose, try to give some breaths to it, a couple more breaths. And then sit on down, however is easy for you. Okay, take your legs out in front. Straighten your knees. Fold forward over your legs. So a little symmetrical moment here of leaning forward. Excuse me. And then finding your way to upright. So we're going to do just a short breath practice sitting. I just need to cough, so I'm going to move my mic for a second. All right, so you want to be able to sit up straight and without a lot of effort, whatever that means for you. So you might want to, sit on your block or pop a little thing under your butt to make it easier to sit. Could be straight legs, cross legs, doesn't matter to me. We're going to do some alternate nostril pranayama. So classically done with the right hand on the nose with the head bowed down. So just a refresher, or if this is new to you, maybe it's not a refresher, you use your 2 last fingers, ring and pinky, side by side. It's really only your ring finger that's going to touch your nose, but it's balancing with the thumb. And so we're trying to get a little similar strength there, and that thumb is pretty strong. So I prefer first 2 fingers tucked in so that I'm not like sticking them up on my forehead, but that's a weird hand position. So just do what you can to get your index and middle finger out of the way, and then use the tip of your ring finger. I'm going to see if I can get a little closer to you for a second. So use it on not the edge of your nose, but that little dimple that's below the bone and above the rim. I don't know what you'd call that, the edge of your nose. So you're going to push on those 2 parts of your nose right there. Makes it sound funny. So we'll take just a moment to try to get the hand position. So ring finger on left side, thumb on right side, trying to form a pincher. Put even pressure, on both nostrils. Don't close them all the way right now, just a tiny bit of pressure, so you're just slightly constricting the passage, yeah? Lift your chest, bow your head, try not to turn your head to the right. This is also where you can get out like any boogies or any problematic sniffing, get that all done. Head bowed, chest lifted, gentle pressure on both sides of your nose. You're going to start to hear that in my voice. And then breathe through your nose. So not alternating right now, just setting up. Just breathing through your nose with this little constriction on both sides. This is where you can teach yourself to kind of calm down mentally. If it feels a little bit weird or panicky, just go less pressure on your hand, or take your hand off and take a normal breath until you feel less anxious. And start to get used to the feeling of how much work you have to do to push with your hand. How little can you do to get just that little pressure on the outside of your nose. After your next exhale, you're going to breathe in through your right nostril only. So block the left side, breathe in through the right. At the top, switch sides and breathe out through your left nostril. So now you're blocking the right side, breathing out through the left. Breathe back in through same side, in through the left. Switch, breathe out through the right. So you're going to always breathe in the same side you just breathe out of. Breathe in the same side you just breathe out of. So breathe in through the right. And you always switch when you exhale. So now switch, breathe out through the left. In through the left. Out through the right. So we're just going to keep going together for another minute or so. The next time that you breathe out through your right nostril, that's going to be the end of a cycle. And so you're just going to stop the alternate nostril. It's called Nadi Shodhana, pranayama. Let's drop your hand to your leg. You can elevate your head again. Just keep your eyes closed and sit for a moment and feel the effects of your practice. So this practice was, I created the sequence to bring an energized harmony. So we did a lot of right, left, and kind of crossing the midline, which is very healing, harmonizing, balancing. But it was a little bit of energy and effort. So maybe you feel those things. Maybe you just feel tired. What do you feel? Now it's typical to lie down at the end of a practice, especially after a breath practice. So if you have that urge, I welcome you to take a Shavasana now and to just take the time that you need to rest and relax. I will be signing off from here, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I know it was kind of crazy, twisting, rolling, rocking around on the floor, but I hope you feel good. I'll see you next time.